Kokomi is a spy and her target is Arlecchino from the House of the Half. So we're just like parachuted here from the mountain. Just gonna try and get a sneak peek here with Kokomi. So there is Arlecchino. She's gotta be very, very careful. That's, oh my crap, run Kokomi, run, 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 jump, jump, jump. Yes, in the water, you're a fish. Swim, 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 swim. Alright, we need to get away because Arlecchino is really, really bad. Kokomi, swimming is faster than gliding. Just swim, 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 swim. Whew, alright, we're in the water, we're safe, and oh wow, look at the background picture. So hi everyone, yeah, we are here in the Arlecchino weekly boss domain, out of bounds of course, and that is what today's video is gonna be all about, just what we're gonna do here. We're gonna have some fun exploring it, seeing what's out there. Typically you can't just break out, but hey, hopefully it'll be a bit of a good time, isn't that right, Kokomi? Oh, what's this? Alright, Arlecchino is just, yeah, she's getting really riled up. I see balls of red and so on. Oh wait, she's gone up? Oh crap, run Kokomi. Yeah, basically she literally jumped into water. It's crazy. But in any case, speaking of jumping, I'm right here with Kokomi and we are now at the summit of the Arlecchino boss. We'll jump down in just a bit of a moment, but just to give you an aerial view of what's happening, nothing really crazy in terms of the sky. You can see that there are areas of water. There, right down there, that's the actual place where you find Arlecchino. And then there's just a whole lot of, well, land, as you can see. And of course, the beautiful Kokomi glider, the link to that is in the description. It is a Game Banana mod that we are running. In any case, the other thing we can do is just go to a second phase of the Arlecchino boss battle, go out of bounds, and once again, you'll just now see the exact same scenery. In other words, you don't teleport anywhere. The second phase fight is still in the same arena, but what you can see now is that the entire sky has changed. There are new objects that have been placed around the map, and the entire idea here is that you get this beautiful composite as you stand there from like Arlecchino, like on the Arlecchino like boss area, and when you look out, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. But to really appreciate that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop here with Kokomi, and you'll see how the entire skies and the scenes change, so that when you get yeah, that happened. So when you eventually do get down towards the, like, let's say arena where you fight Arlecchino, you'll start to understand how all of these seemingly random stuff that you can see now from the sky all come together in one composite to give you a very gorgeous and beautiful view. So you can see here the moon obviously fades, and now all of these like red effects starts taking place. I mean, it's a lot of effort the devs put in place just to make sure that from one vantage point you get something that just looks so cool. Speaking of vantage points, if you go to the ground, you can see that basically, well, we're just in Fontaine, or a kind of a very stripped down version. So if I place my mouse cursor on screen, you'll see there is the Arlecchino boss area, there's the mountain we just glided from, and below is a very familiar area. If you've been playing in Fontaine, everything that you'll see now here in the background is just the same areas without any enemies or like any constructs and so on. So what we know about the Arlecchino boss is that it's a stripped down version of Fontaine, where they just literally took the assets, like put them in the ground, and then voila, they created this composite view. So in a certain sense, whilst I praised the devs earlier for their effort, you do definitely realize that they did a bit of cutting and pasting and copying their own homework to create the area. But nonetheless, from the point of where you as a player are supposed to be, it does look good. But in any case, by the way, some areas like here are like have collision, but other areas that are further back just don't have any collisions. So that's why I'm walking on this one mountain, because the other mountains you kind of just fall through. Regardless, here is just a bit of, as you can see in the background, we're just speeding up here through Chaska. With Chaska, you can, if you've played Fontaine, you'll recognize the environment. I mean, this is just, yeah, we kind of know it, and there you go. There's a nice little bit of another view on the whole Arlecchino boss domain. And yes, I did it again. I kind of killed. I've got this weird habit of killing Kokomi when we go out of bounds. I should really stop it. And regardless, So here we are under the map, and you can see certain polygons come out. That just tells you there's no collision, but then other areas look like they're a bit more solid. They've got a shadow underneath, and the moment that happens, well, you know, you can actually go into that place and go for it. But yeah, this is just how the map looks. There's nothing particular. I really went through this whole map. It's just a stripped down version of Fontaine. And yeah, like any other map, you just teleport when you're too far out of bounds. But because I already initiated the Arlecchino boss fight, I get this very bright start to the map. So this is something that you're not normally supposed to see. You're supposed to just like restart in front of Arlecchino, but you know, because we kind of broke out of the map and we ended the battle phase, the game kind of felt different. And as we go through the barrier here, you'll now suddenly notice that everything becomes like a bit darker as well, from the vantage point of staying there. In any case, so that is the Arlecchino world. You can see here I'm just underground trying to dodge her attacks as I broke out of bounds. And let's get to the second part of this video. How do we actually break out of bounds in the Arlecchino domain? Well, there are two things that you need to understand. The first is that there are two types of barriers currently placed. The first type is an invisible barrier. As you can see, this barrier you cannot cross from either side. So it stops all projectiles. Certain constructs, like for instance Kokomi's jellyfish and so on, can go through, whatever. But generally speaking, you can't go through them. The other type of barrier is, as you can see here where Chaska is hitting, is a barrier which stops projectiles, but it allows you to go through from one side. And if you look at that, if you just look at it now, you can see it's got this bit of a ring effect which tells you, hey, this is a one-way barrier. You can come in from the one side, but you can't come in from the other side. Now, the other natural thing that you might say is, well, okay, if there are barriers all over the place, why not just climb over it? So that's what I'll quickly show you here in the background with the sped up footage. I did climb around the whole place, and effectively what happens is you have like two layers of barriers on the like fighting arena. So you'll see in just a bit that we basically got to the top of the barrier, and then there's another barrier on top of that that you cannot go through. You cannot fall through it, and you cannot go up on it. So look here, and you'll notice, you see that little bump up that Chaska had? We basically got above the one barrier, but now we're effectively in free floating like land, and that barrier at the top might suggest that there's an opening, but it's not. It's like a solid roof, so you can't even go up on like across it, which just means that to try and escape here is very difficult. The devs made it incredibly hard. So you've got a barrier around the arena, and then on the outside you've got portions that have the like double-sided what do you call it, like immovable barrier. So you've got the one-sided barrier on the inside, and on the outside on certain parts there's a double barrier that you just cannot go through. And that is the trick to breaking out of this domain. You see where Chaska's currently flying, that's the area where if you can break through that barrier you'll be able to go out. But if you try and do this ordinarily, you might have noticed that the Hoyo devs are kind of clever. Basically, if you are in the Arlecchino fight and you try and fly up, you'll just be teleported back. And if you try and go outside and you try and go up and around, you're just gonna get stuck eventually, which means if you look at this, it seems like an impossible challenge to conquer. And I'll just give you a bit of a proof here. Here I am trying to explore, and then boom, you just get teleported. So that's kind of how the game works. So how do we break through it? Well, let's revisit the one-sided barrier. You can see here I'm in one of the Inazuma domains. I'm on the one-sided barrier. My Chaska projectiles cannot go through. Now, typically with Zhongli, and we've shown this on the channel before, you can phase through walls, but you can't phase through this one-sided barrier. It just doesn't work. So if you are familiar with the Zhongli clip, it's not going to work under normal circumstances, and that is the key. So there is a bit of an exception to this, and you need to line this up very, very carefully. And it's not just lining it up, but it also depends on the terrain and geometry. But in special circumstances, you can get your character to be stuck on the one-sided barrier. Like you can see with Zhongli. And that means, well, we can't go anywhere. But through a certain set of sequences, as you can see as I'm trying to rotate my character, we can actually break through. And that is one of the key things that you're going to need. That's one of two key ingredients to kind of break through. And as you can see here, we're completely stuck, and now we're going to go down. And this is the key part. The moment Zhongli, or whenever you're in a position to go down, that's when you'll be able to do it. You can see here, this little hopping is basically the game trying to unstuck your character. It's a defense mechanism, but that's exactly the same mechanism that allows you to go through the barrier. I know it looks funny, but trust me, like when you try and hold your mouse button down, you can't run. It's like the game puts like a bit of glue on your character. But once again, you can break through this barrier under special circumstances, and that is exactly what we see here. This is a very good example for you to go and practice, where you can break through the barrier. It just takes a bit. There we go. We broke through a barrier that we were not supposed to be able to do. The other aspect here is the ability to go down, and I'll just let the background do it. There you go. My Kokomi instantly teleported because basically there is a massive teleport barrier here with Resley's ship, and if you stand between two Zhongli pillars in a very specified way, or a very specific way, you're going to go down into the ground, and effectively that is the way in which you'll do it. Now, the exact spot to stand in with the Arlecchino domain, I'm not going to tell you where that is, and I'm also not going to tell you the exact positioning to do here, but it is something that took me a long while to figure out. It does use both glitches, and it does require you to be at that specific place for that one-sided barrier bug to take effect. And yeah, that is how I did it. I know it's very, very difficult. I'm not going to show you the no clip of it. I'll rather show you me like messing around here with Malvika. But that is kind of how it's done. It takes just weeks and weeks and lots of research. I'm the type of person that started figuring out these bugs. I've tried to share them with a lot of people. I've shared lots on my channel already. And whenever I ask people for new ideas or just to share, they always kind of shut me out. But whenever I share something like Malvika Infinite Hair Glow and whatever, then I just get told, hey, why aren't you sharing? And it's just like, you know what, if people are going to be toxic, I'm just going to keep to myself. So I do apologize for that. In any case, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and let me know whether you like your new Kokomi outro. That's going to be the new one going forward. Alright, cheers, bye bye.